Hi, I'm Sean Maloney.
And I'm Andrew Swain, and we're fair weather fans. Why?
Because we're supporters of Australian rugby.
We Australians love sport because we love winning.
We love it. Shane Warne, winner. Black Caviar, winner. Aussie cricket team, now that they're winning, winners. Leighton Hewitt, got you there, Swaney.
Well, he was good when he was winning.
Which is why losing, on the other hand...
Is that booing from the fans? Have a listen to the fans.
I don't think you'd call them fans at this point, Clarkie. They're not fans of that.
And when your side isn't competitive for a very...
The Wallabies rattle.
Very...
Empty-handed again in 2008.
Very long time, well, something worse than booing occurs.
I mean, the last time the Aussies held the Bledisloe Cup, Nathan Sharp had hair.
So it shouldn't come as any surprise that there's one code that's grown more fair weather fans than any other. Rugby.
And the Wallabies won. Sadly, 27,000 fans lost.
After more than a decade away from top spot, Aussie rugby's voice has faded. We find ourselves embarrassed by the noise created by touring nations and shrink even further back from the headlines.
It's gone from a point where rugby 10, 12 years ago, rugby could compete with league. You will automatically fall behind the biggest news story of the day and the rugby league content.
So why should we rugby fans be bothered by what the non-diehards think? Well, for one thing, it's costing us our livelihood.
But when you've got financial challenges in the game, I think, and you want to perpetuate investment in community rugby, you've got to work out how to fund it.
Like any business, professional sport has its bottom line. Ticket sales and supporter numbers are what ensure the prosperity of a code.
Money for grassroots, money to keep our best players in Oz, money to afford to have some afternoon tests.
If nobody's screaming down the door for more and more rugby, well, rugby will be no more.
We are the brave and the bold and the bold.
So, can rugby once again find its voice? To find out, we're bringing together 7 Wallaby diehards with a mission to generate a supporter group for the Wallabies and bring back that vocal passion we've all lost.
There's Moala and Mopes. We call them the Moes. Mo 2 opens bottles with her teeth.
Don't try that at home, kids.
Ronnie, she's a rugby mum who just loves the green and gold and a long lunch.
Now we're off to the pub.
Whee! James, he plays and likes to go party. Hey, nice get-up, Swaney.
Thanks, idiot.
There's Rowie. He's what you call a tragic.
Shut the French up.
He even spent last week in the Wally mascot suit.
You're kidding me.
No!
Wow. We've also got Tiana, who's a gun sevens player. She's representing Australia while finishing school.
Finally, there's this guy, Goldie. What's your bag, buddy?
I feel like I'm the Minister for Good Times.
Awesome.
We'll follow them as they look to form a band of equally passionate supporters for the Bledisloe 1 showdown between the Wallabies and All Blacks.
On the way, we're going to find out just what this great game is all about.
The best thing about it, Sean, is its tribal nature.
From the on-field stuff to what they call the third half. So, are you in? This is a call to arms for every disenchanted rugby fan in the country to come together and make a racket.
So what is the sound of one paw clapping? Have Aussie rugby fans lost their voice, or are we about to discover the call of the Wallaby? It's the Harbour City.
I reckon the piano accordion.
Swaney, are we being a bit harsh? Are Australians really that disheartened by the Wallabies' strike rate in recent years?
With our supporter group based in Sydney, we've come to the CBD to conduct our own little recruitment drive to find out just where we stand.
You think it's a touch harsh?
It's pretty harsh, but no, well, let's go and ask people.
Okay. Excuse me, mate, how you going? That's a terrible way to pitch it.
Go on, then.
So you got a second?
Support them when you're winning. Drop them cold when they lose.
We conducted the dodgiest of dodgy surveys, and our results confirmed our wretched fear.
Can you do us a favour and name as many members as you can of the current Wallaby squad?
Don't know any of them.
Eric Beale.
Don't know anyone?
No.
Got 5 sports questions I need to hang with. It's not charity.
Our survey showed an alarming 73% of people couldn't name more than 2 members of the current Wallaby squad.
Curtly Bill. What's that bloke that gets in trouble all the time, the halfback arm?
Cooper Cronk. See one of them?
Cooper Cronk. There's another one who used to play league with you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah, you got Israel Folau.
Yep.
You got
Zidane.
Nathan Charles, Luke Jones,
Wow.
Michael Hooper.
Yes.
Aloma.
Is that what his name is? Close.
A third of those surveyed believe the team is of average or below average standard.
What would you say the standard of the Wallabies is at the moment? World class, good enough, average, or totally rubbish?
Average.
Average.
Okay.
Point. I think they're world class.
It's good at the moment.
It's good.
Good enough.
Would you describe Aussie rugby fans as fickle?
I probably would, yeah.
And almost 3/4 believe Aussie rugby fans to be fickle.
I don't think they're any different to any other rugby fans.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah?
Say yes.
Yeah, why do you say that?
If the Wallabies are doing well and if they're playing good, expansive rugby, you'll see a lot more people cheering them on and watching the game.
Yeah, right.
As soon as it starts to get a bit quiet and a bit dour, people start to turn away and go to their own conversations.
How did it get like this? Where did it all go wrong?
Thank you, mate. Well played. Go the Blues.
I can't help but wonder what George Gregan would have done in this situation.
When you're in a big match and you're in a big moment, and it's at that critical moment where, you know, there's a turning point, so to speak, all you have to do is your job at that time. And there's a great saying, like, there's something's in the past that's gone, you can't look too far into the future. At present, it is a gift. Just focus on what you have to do. And if everyone is like-minded, then you get the result done more often than you don't.
Australia win its first series on home soil since 1934. Sail us through.
The moment he has been working and waiting for.
How good were the good times? Australian rugby came of age. We were proud. We were passionate. We were champions.
It's hard when you're away to realise how much support there is, but you come back and just, the Sydney seems to turn out fantastic.
Overlap, it has to be for Horan. There it is, Larkham. Stephen Larkham has sealed it. What a play, John Eales.
But were the good times really that good? There's a common opinion that the administration at the time had invested too much of their super in gold.
Administrators were thinking gold in their eyes. That was, wow, the way we're going to make money is not at grade level, is at test level. John O'Neill's been criticised in many areas for maybe focusing too much on that, and I can understand why he did, because it made the game very profitable there for a long while. But then what seemed to happen was that at Super Rugby level, down below, it was sort of forgotten a bit, and they thought, oh, grade rugby, it'll look after itself.
Well, yeah, there's probably some merit in the theory, but you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Like, if the Wallabies win, yeah, there's money that trickles down to the grassroots, but if they don't win in 5 to 10 years' time, where are the players coming through? Because all the money's been spent at that top end.
2 golds, thanks, mate.
Meet Matt McGoldrick from our fan group. He's a former player and GM of the Manly Marlins Rugby Club.
He joins our supporter group with a zest for the off-field enjoyment.
This won't be the first, thanks, mate. First or last. That's a terrible thing from you to do.
To me, the rugby culture, it's not your 80 minutes and what happens on a Saturday. It's the whole thing. It's the training, it's the chat, it's the banter, it's the real camaraderie that comes with.
Goldie's been around the game for a long time and he's got a lot of mates he can tap into. But it's the first time he's been involved in a project like this.
Oh, I think it's awesome. I really do. I think it's just a great chance for like-minded people to get together and say, you know what, our boys need a hand on the field. Let's put a group together from all walks of life to get together and really try and get a result. And we're not going to make the tackles. We're not going to miss the kicks at goal. We're not going to, do the scrums. But, if we can add 5% or 10% to their performance just through out-and-out willpower and cheering and really being behind them and the guys looking back and going, you know what, they're with us, maybe it's the 5% we need.
Back in 2003, the World Cup came to Oz and life was as sweet as a Larkham drop goal. Slightly orange-yellow was worn tip to toe. The AAU's coffers were overflowing. We were unstoppable.
There were pop-up bars, there were huge merchandise areas, there were people just celebrating in the streets, and it really brought Australia together as a rugby community.
A little bit awkward.
Yep.
I wore the old Wallabies jersey with the Vodafone branding on it, so...
You can just stay there, mate.
Sorry.
Tim Rowe is representing the corporate culture of rugby in our fan group. I first met Tim when he was CEO of the Indigenous Marathon Project, so he's got lots of experience in setting up community-led initiatives. He's followed rugby all his life and wants nothing more than to relive those good times. You know, back when nothing could go wrong. Nothing.
Australia come back. Here it is for Johnny. Has he done it? He sure has.
When Johnny slotted that kick, we took a hit. It was a big hit, and we were all fairly invested in that moment. And everyone just went home. Like we took a big sort of kick, our ego, I suppose, in Australian rugby.
We pretty much buried our heads in our beers and made a pact to never allow ourselves to be duped by national pride ever again.
Australian people have got right behind the team. We're disappointed we didn't do the job, but time to move on. It's a new day, and there's more important things in life than just a footy game.
Since then, there's not really one memory that sort of sticks in my mind too much about the Wallabies and their glorious victories or string of victories. So maybe that's something that sort of is a reason why support is sort of dwindling a little bit.
Tim's got a point, but just have a look at the reaction to the All Blacks coming home after exiting the 07 World Cup in the quarters. Although not everyone in New Zealand were as supportive.
It sucks big time, but it happened, so at least Australia didn't win.
Compare that to our support when we lost in the 07 quarters.
New Zealand, they just worship the All Blacks. And I think that's the biggest problem here is people don't get behind enough. They're just too cynical that, oh, you know, we could just go watch rugby league or so-and-so's not doing this. It's, well, why don't you just get on board?
James Swan plays second grade for Sydney Uni and's a former club captain. He's been brought in to tap into the vocal student base.
Well, there's 100 people at uni, so I could at least hopefully get that many. All my friends love rugby, so I don't want to put a number on it and set myself an unrealistic goal, but I'd love to get 100, and I think that'd be a great start anyway.
100? What? I think we're going to need a few more than that, Swanee.
You ready to go?
If there's one culture that's entrenched in the game of rugby, it's schoolboy culture. Renita Miles' two boys both play rugby for Mossman, and her eldest boy attends St Joseph's College in Sydney, traditionally known as the nursery for our national side. She's not exactly your typical Mossman mum, though.
I'm a mum, single mum of two boys who are 12 and 10. I think that rugby provides some really good male role models, and being a mum on my own without that male influence in my boys' lives, I felt that rugby was the best sport for them to have that positive role model. I'd love a supporter group that, you know, had lots of children involved, so I think that we really need to engage the kids at a younger age. I know when my kids go to games, it's very different to watching the game at home. And, you know, they do get excited and, you know, they're engaged. They want to meet the players.
10 push-ups. When I say one, you repeat. 1, 2, 3.
We want this supporter group to represent the broad spectrum of rugby fans. Mawala and Mopes are representing Sydney's West. They coach the Parramatta 2 Blues women's team.
I said 15, yeah? It's fine. No more drop balls. We'll move it to 20.
We've got a lot of representative players. We've got currently about 8 girls playing for Sydney, and we've got about 4 girls chosen for the Wallaroos. Right now, hopefully we can get a bit more.
A lot of people get angry at us because all we do is talk about rugby. Every time we see each other, hey, what about the game? What are we going to do for training? How about Saturday? What are we doing?
Yeah.
So everything's all about rugby with us. It's 24/7.
Hello, make sure you go over for space, eh? Over the bags.
Mawala is also the older sister of Wallabies hooker Tatafu Polota-Nau. Not a bad little tie to have with the team.
I taught him everything he knows. So he's got to thank me for that.
The Polynesian community, you know your second, third cousins, fourth cousins. So we're going to target those people first, and then their friends catch on to it. So, you know, if you get one person from each, you know, family or whatever, they know, you know, like people, and it would just kind of like Amway. Yeah.
Women in rugby, huge, right? It's actually the fastest growing component of the game worldwide. It's about 6.5 million rugby players worldwide, 20% are female. Sevens is a massive growth opportunity, right? Olympic Games in 2016 and 2020. It's going to be exponential growth in both player numbers and the commercial side of the game. So there's a lot of great growth opportunities coming for us.
Tiana Penitani is one such prodigy. She's a member of the Aussie Women's Sevens team, and at just 18, she represents a generation who've grown up never knowing the Wallabies to be number one.
I've always wanted to be part of a crowd that just goes crazy when Australia wins a Bledisloe, but I've never had that opportunity, you know, so it's weird. It's weird for me to always see New Zealand winning, but I'd love to see it. I'd love to be part of that atmosphere, you know, and finally be on top.
Welcome, guys. It's finally great to have you all here as a big group, finally in the one place at the one time. This actually, I'm hoping, is a significant moment for Australian rugby tonight. It mightn't look significant, you're only a small group of people, it doesn't feel that way, but I'm glad that we've come here to ANZ Stadium to actually give you an idea of the enormity of what we're trying to achieve with this challenge.
Now, on to sort of part of the reason for the challenge. I don't know if you guys are across it, but it's been well noted and pretty well documented as well that Australian rugby fans are just kind of disappearing. I don't think that's the case. I think they're still around as passionate as ever, but they're just lying dormant.
So that's your challenge. We want you guys to actually bring that to the surface and reignite the fans. I'll get you to turn around and have a look at those seats behind you. That's where the fans will be reignited.
So, you guys have got 3 short months to fill each of these sections, 3,000 seats, and the key is not to just fill them, but fill them with fans just like you guys, passionate fans who'll trigger those around the stadium.
And hopefully that'll actually inspire the guys out on the field, bleeding in that jersey, in that Wallabies jersey, and hopefully we can one day reclaim the Bledisloe Cup.
That's our job, to defeat the silence, to get the fans revved up behind our Wallabies. You ready for it?
Ready.
Are you ready? Let's do it.
Wallabies. And then everyone just goes, get up.
I want to see us like a sea of yellow, chanting, screaming at the top of our lungs for our team.
I think the culture of Australian rugby at the apex is really changing, and beneath that it needs the support of the wider community, and I think that's where our group can really come into the fold.
I think we just need to make it really fun for them and, you know, make it a game day experience.
You go to ANZ for Bledisloe last year, half the crowd at least were All Black supporters. So I think if you can sort of get the Wallabies fans to get there and really embrace it, get involved, then that'll really help drum up the sport.
You know, enough's enough of us turning up and having half the stadium full of black jerseys. Enough's enough. Get the gold out there, let's be proud to wear it and really show that we want our boys to do well.
That way we've got a ton of support for the boys to lift their spirits, and hopefully it'll have a domino effect from the grandstand to the field.
We're losing time. Hold me close, we're falling to the ground.
The idea behind combining a diverse range of cultures in the Wallabies fan group is based around tapping into all that's good about the rugby community that might be missing from the top level.
Goldie has invited us along to see his beloved Manly Marlins take on the Warringah Rats in the Shute Shield local derby. He wants us to see firsthand the difference in supporter passion at the lower tier.
International rugby is different. It is more of a product, where for us, this is about bragging rights, but we're not playing for a sheep station, and that's what we constantly got to keep sight of. We're playing to give aspirational rugby players an opportunity to get to the next level.
Hey, of course he's here.
Good to see you.
Of course he's here.
Derby day.
Popped it over the top to Lucas. Lucas to the left. Milroy, quick hands. Ciali. Hooper. Hooper, yes!
This is the biggest day on the Sydney Club Rugby state. And so for us, from a financial perspective, it's very important. We think there's between 6,000 and 7,000 people.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Regard that as a success.
Oh, huge success.
Another penalty accruing against Warringah. They don't need it. Guess who?
Hey, it's not by how many. It doesn't matter how you get there.
That's how you do.
That's how you do it. Look at them, hey? They're faithful.
You don't see this anywhere else, do you?
What's not to love, though? Look.
Why is this day so special?
Because the Marlins are the best club in all of the Shoot Shield, and there's no joke about it.
Okay, if I lock you in a room and you can only watch one team the whole time, I know who I'd pick. It's the Marlins, the Waratahs or the Wallabies.
I choose Marlins.
Yeah, I'm the same.
No joke about it. I choose Marlins.
It should grow, shouldn't it? It should be more passion for the Waratahs.
And then there should be more passion for the Wallabies, but it doesn't happen. It actually happens in reverse. I think there's a level of elitism in the Wallabies, and guys like come down here because they can go out and have a beer with a guy afterwards, and they've got relationships that you can kind of forge with them.
Tell me, can you get all these boys into a Wallaby supporters group?
Yeah, I think I can. Yeah, I'll put a day around it. I'll make a day for the guys. I think they'll enjoy it. It'll have to fit in with, obviously, I want them here supporting my boys first, but we'll get there. I'll get them there.
20 points to 11, about 20 to go. The boys on the hill are starting to get pretty excited.
How long do you reckon that kind of support has come through to club rugby level over the last, say, 10 years since you started playing, when you started?
How's it grown? I don't think it was like this back in the day, Sean. Like, it matters to these guys. Like, they're all nuts, but they're all good guys. Dawsey's crazy.
You're not going to see that at ANZ or Allianz. There's so much buy-in to this game that worldwide. So Sam Harris, who played at both the Rats and Manly's in Japan, watching on. Brett Sheehan, former Wallaby, he's watching on from the Northern Hemisphere as well. And they're all on Twitter sort of going back and forth. And I'm about to give the bad news to a few of the Rats guys that they are getting thumped heavily. In terms of support though, like how does that help you kick on when you've been playing at the top level from the crowd? Does it lift your performance?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's always, the crowd, if you've got a home crowd getting behind you, it lifts you up like probably, an extra 10%.
In the way there with a leg injury. Ciali, Louis Ciali, and Ciali's there.
Yeah, baby!
So they win this derby. 6 tries to 2. Marlins too good for the Rats today.
The boom boom will happen here in front of us. They're going to get loose in a big way tonight. Look out Manly. Obviously responsibly.
How good. If you don't have goosebumps after that, that is all time, and that's why this game is so great. It's awesome. Like goosebumps, it's the best.
Ronnie's organised for our group to have regular meetings at Mossman Rugby Club. First up on the agenda is to come up with a name.
So,
throw some suggestions out there.
We need to walk away with a name.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the Golden Army's obviously been thrown out there as the first one.
Yeah.
Because there's the green and gold already with the Socceroos.
Yeah.
And I think we need a troop or an army kind of name.
I think it just sort of gives it togetherness. I think, it's you're all in it together type thing,
But what are we resisting? We need to win the Bledisloe back. That's the goal. We need to win it. We need something to do with passion and...
The Gold Warriors.
No, but Warriors...
Gold diggers.
The gold diggers, the gold mine as well.
Well, I was thinking the gold mine as the area where we're going to be sitting at. The gold diggers, and then you have the gold mine. So that's where we'll be sitting at, and like, you know.
That's pretty cool. So we're sitting in the gold mine.
In the gold mine, yeah.
Oh, golden troopers, maybe, I don't know. But I think poopers, like, if I was like an All Blacks fan, I'd be like poopers.
Gold.
What about the golden ones?
Awesome. Good thinking,
I
Sonny.
think that's it. All those, you know, those headbands with the shovel, like you get for Halloween. You get the axe in the middle of your head. You get the shovels.
The golden
The golden ones. The golden ones. Yeah,
The golden ones. Really?
On your tiara.
Overnight, the group had a change of heart. Thankfully, someone was teased about being called the Golden Girls.
Thank you for being...
And Goldie's wife said it made them sound like a cult.
Via email, Swanee came up with the Gold Brigade, and it was unanimously agreed with the section in the stadium to be known as the Gold Mine. Shortly after, the logo and the Facebook page was created, and they now have an identity in the rugby community.
They're off to a flyer. So, Aussie sports fans, now it's up to you. Tickets for the first Bledisloe have been reserved for the Gold Brigade section. If you love your country, if you love your Wallabies, if you want to do all you can to turn the tide and lift rugby back to its pinnacle, now is the time to act. Grab your family and friends and head to facebook.com/The Gold Brigade and follow the exclusive link for tickets. Enough is enough. Let's bring back the Bledisloe, get behind our team and get rowdy.
Guys, if you haven't noticed, there's a thing called the Gold Brigade going on with our games.
Tuesday night on the Call of the Wallaby, our supporter group get a feel for how to build the game day experience.
You gotta love the passion. I feel like I'm at a pep rally, mate.
How to convince Wallabies fans to answer the call.
What about the vibe around the day, though? Yeah, I think everyone's pretty hammered.
7 p.m. Tuesday on Fox Sports 1.
Call of the Wallaby? That's what it's called. It's called the Call of the Wallaby. So keep your eye out because you'll be on there.